Hiya. Today I thought, because I haven't done a video blog for a while, I thought I'd talk about dementia alongside the other illnesses that come with it. The one that usually comes with it more often than not is depression, and I suppose it's what I'd like to call the hidden side of dementia. I've suffered from depression for years and years, even before I was diagnosed with dementia. But when got my diagnosis, it just made things 20 times worse. I'm now on some very good medication, and there's probably a few of you think that I will be the last person that would suffer from this. But that's what a lot of people think, and that's unfortunately not always the case. I often wonder if when people who have dementia, when they are depressed and it gets mistaken for something else, when the person who has a diagnosis is a little bit ratty or can't be bothered speaking to anybody or goes into themselves if he's very quiet, I wonder sometimes how much of it is dementia or how much of that is depression. Because when you're diagnosed, you've just been told what is without doubt the worst news of your life. And you also eventually come to realise that there is no cure as yet. So depression comes quite often, not to everybody, but I do know it does affect a lot of people who have a diagnosis of dementia. The only advice I could give really is if you fall into that category, then please see your doctor, because I went seeing mine to explain the kind of thoughts I was having, to explain the very dark places I was going, and he was quite happy to change my medication and put me on a higher dose, which more or less keeps me levelled out now, apart from the odd days when I call my concrete overcoat arrives when I don't really want it, and it can be any time, day or night, and it just seems to descend on me, and I'll be so low. I often wonder sometimes, if anything's worth it. And then after a while, as luck has it, the concrete overcoat disappears and I'm back to my normal self. But these bouts of depression do happen from time to time. And I think sometimes people with dementia should be given thought about this. And I think people should think about this when certain people are really down or really quiet or really into themselves. Because I think depression is very much like dementia. It's a hidden disease. It's not that talked about that often. And when it is, it's not something that's widely known or widely discussed. So I think the two diseases go hand in hand. And I do think that sometimes they go hand in hand to the detriment of the person who's got the diagnosis. But I think it's just something else to keep an eye open for. I know lately I've had a bit of a wobble, and I start to think, oh God, is it all worth it? Is having this disease, there's no cure, and will we ever get anywhere? Will we ever find a cure? What about my family? What's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to my kids? And all these kind of things go through your mind, and they all go through my mind. And as I've said before, people with dementia are very good at hiding things. And I think people with dementia and depression are twice as good at hiding things, because they don't want to put any more burden onto the family, and they don't want to put any more worry onto the shoulders of the ones that they love. We're very good at hiding things, very good at it. Even when you're talking to people on the phone and you go to meet people and you put a happy smiley face on, and yet deep down you know that your insides are crying so hard you don't know what to do with yourself. It's just an awful thing to have and an awful thing to be. But I really do think, from somebody like myself who was a diagnosis, I think that I should be mentioning this, that people with dementia might not just have that, but they might also have depression as well. Because if they don't see a light, like I do, if they don't see a cure on the horizon, just like I do most of the time, then all they've got to think about is what they've read about dementia, and that's why they get depressed, and that's why they get really down. I couldn't imagine it being any different, to be honest with you. But I think what we've got to realise is that there is hope out there, and there is medication for depression, which will help and hopefully bring you out of it, and it'll help your kids. I don't condone taking medicines willy-nilly. I don't condone taking antidepressants just because you're feeling a little bit down. But I think, as with all medicines, there is a time and place for everything. And I think that people with dementia should be looked after to make sure that depression isn't also running alongside of it, if that makes any sense. I think I'm struggling a little bit today, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But apart from that, I think that all these things should be thought about. So I just thought I'd mention it, and I hope that maybe a few of you understand what I mean, and maybe a few of you recognise what I'm saying, and it strikes home a little bit. And the next video I'll probably do, I promise I'll be a little bit better. I think I've just had one of those days, but from me, for now, have a great day. Alright, thanks, bye.